Hey guys, welcome back to Starcast Sticker Marks. Alongside my brothers Chris and James, my name is Ryan. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor of this episode. Use that promo code THPN the next time you go and use their services. Somehow, some way, the Dallas Stars would not be denied the pseudo win tonight, winning 5-4 in a shootout over the Washington Capitals. Guys, frankly, I don't care that it was a shootout win. I'll take it. That's how I feel about this game tonight.
I mean, y'all know I've always said a shootout win counts just the same as a normal win. Basically, the exact same thing. Absolutely great game by the Stars. I mean, to fight back through all the adversity they went through tonight, they played a good game. But all the bad stuff that happened to them, all the bad breaks that they got, and they fought through all of it on the second night of a back-to-back, playing the most minutes you could play in a hockey game, and they find a way to not only claw 1 point out of it, but to go and get both of them. I mean, this whole road trip fully sucked. Every part of it felt so unlucky. It felt like we couldn't catch a break the entire time. We didn't play very good during a lot of it as well. And I think this is a good way to kind of cut it off. I mean, finish it off with a strong, emotional, battling game. And I think the Stars did a good job of that. And hopefully we can forget about this road trip and just move on.
James, what's your initial thoughts coming out of this game tonight?
Oh man, I was about to be really upset with this game because it felt like the last two games. It's like all the bounces go the opposite direction, and we can't catch a break. And tonight it was feeling the exact same way. And then we finally tied up again, like we did last game in the third early. And then the other team gets a power play and scores on it, and we're right back where we started last game. And I thought it was going to end 4-3. Honestly, I was fully convinced.
Man,
And the power play felt super unlucky too. The Stars were out shooting the Caps like 9-0 at that point, and they get the power play. It's just, and it was a penalty. It was a bad play by Foxa, but still, it just feels so everything's
was
going our way. Just flips every single time.
And it's frustrating because there was lots of opportunities to call penalties against the Capitals tonight, and the only call they made was when they ran over our goaltender. They had to run over our goaltender to get a penalty called on them.
And their most notorious player had to run over the goaltender. I mean, no better player to run over your goaltender to get it called than Wilson. I mean, I put this tweet up. I think it's worth saying as well, because the ESPN announcer was like, "Oh, Wilson had no way to get out of the way there." Well, who put Wilson in that position? Wilson did.
The other part is he didn't even try to stop. I mean, there's a difference between, okay, you're getting forced into the goaltender, but players will still try to stop. He didn't even make an attempt. He just went straight through.
And if there was ever anybody to give the benefit of the doubt, it's Wilson. I mean, his reputation is just being just the kindest, nicest hockey player who never does anything wrong. So I'm really surprised we got the power play there.
Right, he has the same on ice character as Joe Pavelski, right? So
or Yanni Hakanpää.
That he took a penalty there, just beyond shocked. But and I doubt this was just me, but they call the penalty in overtime. I didn't even say anything. I just gaped my mouth up, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, after all of this, it seems like we keep pushing back, and we keep pushing, and we keep pushing, and keep pushing. And then this is going to be the way the game ends, is on an overtime power play. I'm like...
And I'm going to complain about it first. Seriously. But the penalty kill deserves credit there. But that is not ever a penalty in overtime. I mean, it is probably technically a penalty. I will agree with that. That penalty never gets called in overtime. Not a singular time. And we've seen it this season, where a penalty pretty much as blatant as that one is not called in overtime, because it's pretty much giving the win to the other team, unless the other team's power play is absolute garbage, like the Capitals right now.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. It is like, of course, it's the worst power play in the league, basically, and we have the best road power penalty kill in the league, and of course we give up a goal to let them go up 4-3. It just seemed like everything about this game was just cursed. It just felt cursed. We come back 3 times. Like 1-1. I was just like, okay, all right, we're good. All right, we were playing well. We got a good thing going there in the first period. It shouldn't have been tied. We were the better team there, but whatever, it happened. It's hockey, whatever. We go down 3-1 when Washington starts playing better in the second period. And then I'm like, okay, of course. The old me probably would have turned it off at that point. Honestly, at 3-1, I probably would have turned it off. I would have just been like, this team's cursed. We're screwed. This game's over. But then they push back again and make it 3-3. And what they don't, and then they do the same thing they did last night. They allow it to go up 4-3 on a power play goal to the worst power play in the league. And then I honestly thought it was over at that point. And the one thing that I can point to about this team and what I was very happy about is this game seemed over multiple times tonight. And I even tweeted this out earlier tonight. They looked pissed. They looked forever God-loving pissed because it seemed like they were not getting the bounces that they probably should have deserved. They were having all of these chances that they were not able to get in the back of the net. And as sucky as it seems, getting a shootout win tonight, I'm happy with it because they get the 2 points that I thought they deserved. I thought they fully deserved to win this game tonight.
And it's been like that the past 2 games now. I mean, we really should have won that Florida game too with how well we were playing, and we kind of flubbed it in the third.
Yep, agreed. And I agree with you 100%, Ryan. The thing I was most happy about is just the scratching and clawing for these 2 points tonight. Doesn't matter really how we got them in the end. It was the fight during the game that makes me most happy. And that emotional response, like you said, getting pissed off and turning your pissed off feeling into playing harder and playing better when you're
not bad. You're
dead tired too. So
yeah, and that was the thing I was most impressed about. I was just like, we haven't really seen this side of the team yet. I mean, they had to have been dead dog tired, and they were the better team in the third period by far the better team in the third period, and they allowed that pissed offness, if that's a verb I can use, to kind of translate into a way where they could get it going in the third period and get that game tying goal to get it up 4-4. So that's something that I was really excited about seeing tonight. So seriously,
perfect segue. Going back to that overtime penalty kill by Faksa, Hakanpää, Lindell. There was a couple of mistakes by all those guys actually tonight. You could point to individual mistakes by each and every one of them. But that final penalty kill in that overtime was absolutely amazing by all 3 of those guys, especially Radek Faksa. I'm going to give him double dip him 2 games in a row. Radek Faksa played absolutely amazing. And that penalty kill especially. Radek Faksa was a madman, a man possessed.
You better be careful, Chris. People are going to start calling you a Faksa lover.
I'm going to be a Faksa fan.
Faksa is the best on these back.
Yeah, that fourth line was especially good on this back-to-back. Just their consistency that they've had recently with not necessarily offensive pressure, but at least getting pressure in the offensive zone is really what's impressed me by this fourth line. And again tonight, they pretty much set up that Seguin goal. I mean, that offensive zone time, they trickle Seguin on, and that fourth line is the reason Seguin scores there. I mean, Seguin scored the goal, but the fourth line got it.
Absolutely.
And that was a great pass by, I think it was Steele got that primary assist there, which was
it was a great find. I mean, it was a huge gap, but I mean, he still saw it and got it right over to him right in his wheelhouse.
Yep.
So one of the things I didn't believe, and I always say this, but the hockey guy, I watch him religiously. I watch a lot of his YouTube stuff. If you don't follow him, you should. It's a lot of good stuff. But I watched his most recent power rankings that he did, and he was saying, like, somehow, some way, the Washington Capitals seem to find a way to win, it seems like, and they continue this trend. And I'm like, okay, Shannon, like, I don't believe it. I'm now a firm believer in that. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand.
They had no chance tonight. They had no chance, and they still were leading the entire game.
And the other frustrating thing, kind of going back to it, like how this happened, when we were like the dominating team during a stretch of time, it would be like click. It would be like one offensive rush the other way or one offensive zone time for the Capitals, and they'd get a power play. that happened like 2 or 3 times tonight too. And I'm just like, how could the Capitals be so stinking lucky? I didn't believe it, but I believe it now. So it's just ridiculous. Just to give you guys an idea, do y'all want to know the deserve to win meter, or have you already looked at it?
I've already looked.
We've already looked. That's our favorite stat is the deserve
Yeah,
to
it
win
is.
meter. The Dallas Stars win the deserve to win meter, the true test of what team was better. Obviously, 62.6% for Dallas, 37.5 for the Capitals. That jumped up big time for Dallas in that third period. They dominated.
Absolutely, absolutely, they did. And man, I really hope that this doesn't continue like this trend. I have felt so depressed watching Stars hockey sometimes, at least
No, I was
recently, and
so upset basically the entire game.
I was mad. I was like genuinely frustrated, upset, mad. I'm like, they're playing well, and I can't get mad at them. Why are they losing? I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't understand. But
Yeah, the perfect feeling is frustrated because like we're playing good for most of the game. Definitely parts that weren't great, like right after the first Caps goal, we weren't playing great. The second period, the Caps kind of played a little bit better than the Stars for large portions of it. But overall, the Stars weren't playing bad, and they were getting beat 3-1. And it was like, what? It's it's so frustrating.
it
But
doesn't feel like a 3-1 game. It didn't.
exactly. But it was so thrilling and exciting to see them come back 3 times, like you said, Ryan. That was a ton of fun, a really fun hockey game, and 2 good hockey games in a row the past 2 nights. So that's been a lot of fun to watch.
I did get to go back and watch the Florida game last night. I think I finished it at like 2 in the morning, but I did finish it. I did watch it, and I was just like, okay, Chris, I see what you were talking about because I watched your episode last night, which I appreciate you did solo, by the way. That's it's harder to do than you think, guys. It really is. But you're right. I 100% agree with you. The 2 games that, man, after that goal when they tied it 3-3 against Florida, I was just like, man. But
Well
anyway,
said.
yes, but
Start.
I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry. I want to talk about Wedgwood for a second. I don't know how to classify his thing tonight.
It
He
was
kept him
fine.
in kind of, but the
I
first
mean,
goal was like, come on, really?
that's Wedgwood playing the puck. He's not supposed to do that. He knows that too. Wedgwood knows that. He on multiple occasions when he's in the net, he will just even if no one's coming, he will just leave it back there. He decided to play it. Bad decision, and it bit him in the butt.
And I'll kind of give him at least a little bit on that 4th goal as well. I mean, it was a good shot, but it wasn't painting any lines or anything like that's one that you kind of want to have, especially when you're on the penalty kill. So he did like normal backup duty tonight, which for Wedgwood isn't that great. I'm gonna say because Wedgwood is a better goalie than that. He's a better goalie than what he played tonight, but he comes up clutch in the shootout for sure. I mean, the poke check on the first one and then the big save on the second one, really good. Obviously, Ovechkin lost the puck on the third one, but 2 big saves on those first 2. So he stepped up when we needed him, and he got us a point for sure.
No, I can't remember if it was the second and the fourth goal or the third and the fourth goal that was in the same spot. It beat him under the glove over the pad, and I was just like, okay, maybe the first one you can allow, but the second one you can't allow people to beat you there again. So that's something that I was frustrated with. But okay, let's talk about some of the pregame headlines coming in tonight. So obviously the biggest one is congratulations to Matt Duchene getting to 1,000 games. Not many players get that opportunity to do that. It looked like it was going to be kind of a sour note for his 1,000th game, considering how the game was going, but they get the win tonight. And Matt Duchene, he was kind of pissed at points. He was kind of swinging his stick at the boards and stuff like that. So seriously, congratulations to him.
It's crazy that he hasn't scored in the past 2 games. I mean, he has looked ridiculous and done ridiculous things, and he just like when he finally gets the chance to shoot, it somehow doesn't go in. Whether that be a crazy goaltender save or just a block getting in his way. And the crazy thing is he's setting up both the people on his line still all the time.
Yep.
And he's still getting frustrated. That makes no sense, but whatever.
I forget what game was it. We were up like 6-1, and he actually got upset.
It was the Lightning game. I
It
think
was
we
a
were up
Lightning game,
8-1, and
he
just
missed
he
a
couldn't
shot.
score.
He should have scored.
He couldn't
Yeah,
score.
it was like one of the few players that didn't get a
He's
point, which is
cursed.
weird.
He's cursed.
So, the other big one is that Lundqvist does make his way back into the lineup again tonight. And I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this, but was Delandria in the game against the Panthers?
Against the Panthers?
Yes. No. So it's just Lundqvist that makes his way back into the lineup tonight. What did y'all see about his performance this evening? Any better? About the same?
I mean, he's just fully sheltered at this point. I don't like it. There's a good article by David Castillo, friend of the show, obviously, on what my thoughts on Lundqvist are. I pretty much agree with that article that he posted today, pretty much 100%. I think y'all should go look at it. But he only gets 15 minutes time on ice tonight. I don't know. I maybe saw him twice in the third period, and that's been pretty typical for him for the past 3 weeks. So, yeah, I thought he played good. I thought he had a good game. He made smart plays in his own end and really helped move the puck out of his defensive end. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he looked fine tonight. He actually plays more minutes tonight than his season average, I believe. But
I think
I
it
don't
was
know. I
because
don't-
it was a back-to-back.
maybe
Honestly, that's why he got some more minutes tonight.
I honestly don't notice him that much tonight, which, I mean, that's not a bad thing, I guess, but also it's Lundqvist, and you kind of expect him to. He had like that one crazy good shot that didn't go in or got blocked. I forget if it was blocked or hit the post or something, but other than that, I didn't really notice him tonight.
I'm kind of the same way, James, but I had a little bit of negative and a little bit of positive. So it was another, I can't remember what third period or if it was in the second or third period, but there was an opportunity where it was probably could have gotten it out of his zone, and it led to a really good chance for Washington and actually a really good save by Wedgwood to keep it out. But on the flip side of that, there was also a really good opportunity where it was a 3-on-2 going the other way, and he actually joined the rush, and he was the trailer and had a pretty decent shot, a pretty decent chance there. So we really need to see him do that a little bit more. I mean, Chris,
it frustrates me how
Yeah.
nitpicky we have to get when we're talking about Lundqvist because we're seeing so little of what he's doing. But then, like, you can see other stuff. Harley literally passed it to a guy in the slot for a great scoring chance for the Capitals tonight. But it's
Lundqvist kind of did it too. Lundqvist kind of did it too.
Affect Harley's minutes at all, though. I mean, that's fully going to affect Lundqvist's minutes.
But Harley also played 22 and a half minutes again tonight. I mean,
I understand. It's just we're talking about Lundqvist differently than we talk about any other player on the Stars. We're like nitpicking every single time he screwed up and every single time he did good. And that's not how an eye test works. It's like overall, how did he play? And it feels like we don't do that because of the position he's getting put in.
Well, I think a lot of that is because he is not adding as much as we had originally hoped for. I mean, truly, he does not add that much to this team. Both games where Harley played over 20 minutes, you noticed it instantly. I mean, he is playing ridiculous and out of his mind. Even tonight, he has that one mishap. But other than that, he looked like he should have scored 2 goals.
Yeah, but Lundqvist hasn't played that much even. I mean, even when he's played well, he hasn't played that much. At the beginning of the season, we were talking about Lundqvist started out pretty good, and we just don't see him play that much. And he's also still 23 years old. I mean, he turned 23 a few months ago, and we're not seeing enough of him to actually get a good gauge on how good he's playing, in my opinion. But I am forever a Lundqvist apologist, probably. So I understand the point where it's like we can't develop him. We have to play whoever's going to win the games the best. I just don't agree that Lundqvist objectively is hurting this team defensively.
Joe Mama with a good point over here. Plus, he hasn't played in a week for one bad game. I disagree with that a little bit. I don't think it was one bad game. He had he didn't play terrible. He had like 2 or 3 games where he didn't look terrible, and then the last game before he got scratched, he was pretty rough. But I do agree with you on the second point. He's nervous and not playing free, which is
he's definitely not playing free.
He wants to play. I mean, he's going to get paid either way. So, the thing is hockey players want to play. I mean, if you tell Jake Ottinger to go into the net for 82 games out of the season, he will go into the net 82 games out of the season. That's just how hockey players are. And if you tell a player that, oh, well, or not actually tell him, but with your actions by scratching him, and you're basically telling him, okay, if you screw up even just once or twice even, then you got a very short leash and you're going to go back up in the press box.
And it's
I
not
mean,
just the
I
scratches
wouldn't play
either.
as loose either.
It's in game. He's getting benched after making one mistake. And like other players on the Stars make those mistakes. Hakanpää has had some absolutely awful games. He's had several awful games in a row at points. And there's not a thought about benching him, of healthy scratching him. That doesn't happen. So obviously, I just think he's not getting a fair shake, especially for how much we paid for him. He needs to be getting more looks than this, in my opinion. If you're gonna pay for him and pay him to play in the NHL, you have to give him looks, and I don't think the Stars are doing a good job of that. But then again, like we talked about on Sunday, that's not exactly Pete DeBoer's job either. Pete DeBoer is trying to win hockey games. If he thinks Lundqvist isn't the best to do it, he's gonna do what he thinks is best. I just disagree.
Ardell was reading my mind 100% right there. Here's the thing that I think about a lot. The reason why Hakanpää and Lindell, well, Lindell doesn't get scratched for numerous reasons, but the reason why Hakanpää doesn't get scratched is because the two of them make up the best defensive pairing on the penalty kill. And if you take Hakanpää out, you cannot put Suter there. You can't put Miro there because he's already playing too many minutes. And for heck, you can't put Lundqvist there. I'm sorry.
I'm just giving examples. Lundqvist is pulled off a 5-on-5 play, but Hakanpää wouldn't be pulled off of those kind of 5-on-5 play.
Right, but like,
and I understand it's not the mistakes,
same thing, but for the mistakes Hakanpää makes, he makes up for it with the penalty kill. What does Lundqvist
just put him on the penalty quill? I mean,
the penalty quill.
Yes, thank you. Lundqvist makes up for those mistakes by doing what he did tonight, getting the puck out of his own zone. And that's one thing that Hakanpää and Lindell almost can never do when they're playing together, is get the puck out of their own zone. So Lundqvist objectively is much better at that than them. So it's not like he's bringing nothing to the table. He definitely has much more puck moving ability than those two at the very least.
But you look at like the value of every single defenseman we have right now, and by far Lundqvist brings the least value.
Yes, I agree. But he brings more value than Hanley does. That's my final.
Only barely.
I
only barely, I think.
What does Hanley bring?
Hanley brings the consistency in front of his own net, and Lundqvist really doesn't have that.
And Lundqvist brings the consistency of getting the puck out of his own zone. Hanley doesn't bring that.
Yeah, trade-offs. Congrats. Yeah. We figured it out.
Yeah.
We boiled it down. We've done it.
Yeah. There we go. We've done it. So
it just upsets me. Lundqvist has so much more upside, and I want him to be played.
I agree. He has more potential, but who is playing better now? It's a toss-up, honestly, sometimes. And that's the frustrating thing.
I think what my mind goes to, and I agree this is probably not the correct way of thinking about it. In the long run, this hockey team will be much better if Lundqvist
can be a top 4
as a player. Not just a top 4 guy. If he's played more and has grown as a player and is solidly the number 6 guy and is obviously playing and is playing more often, this team is much more better. If Hanley is playing his absolute best and Lundqvist is playing his best, this team is better when Lundqvist is playing.
Yes, that is true.
I think my brain just wants the ideal, and it's true that that's not happening, but I think he has barriers to it happening as well. I'm going to die on this hill. I don't care what the comments say. Come at me.
He's already reading.
A flag is planted.
But honestly, it I don't ever think it's like one side or the other. I think it's a little bit of both. And I agree with you, and I also agree with the fact that people say that Lundqvist is not living up to what he could do, and he needs to take it. He needs to take that mantle. We've been talking about this for, a year and a half now, and he still hasn't solidified himself as the number 6 guy. He still hasn't done that. That 100% is on him, because Harley came in and fully pressed and forced the coaches and Jim Nell to say that he is on the roster and he's not going back to the American Hockey League. Period.
That's the right
He
argument
forced
to
his
use
way
on
on.
me, Ryan. Lundqvist definitely, it's not like he's had no chance. He's definitely had less of a chance. He has had barriers, but he hasn't overcome them either. So he's had those opportunities and he hasn't taken advantage of them. You're fully correct there. You maybe one tick back, but
Okay.
about 98 ticks this way. So
Which is
need a few
okay.
more.
I don't expect you to go any further back, Chris. There's a lot of other stuff we could talk about, but we're already getting late. But I do want to mention this. Roope Hintz. He finally gets an ugly goal, guys.
Amazing.
He finally gets an ugly goal. I've never seen
First
a
one.
Roope Hintz ugly goal before, and
The
he
first
finally
one
gets
of
one.
the road trip.
Right, exactly. So he gets 2 goals in the third period tonight, allows the Stars to come back and get the shootout victory. So I'll just go ahead and say it. He is my biggest winner for the evening. And especially he hadn't been scoring in, I think it's like the last 5 or last 6.
No
So
goals
this is
in
his
6 left.
So him coming out in the third period and kind of setting the tone for the Stars and getting both of those goals to allow them to even have a chance of getting a point tonight was huge. So he's my biggest winner tonight.
Goal was disgusting. He's insane. I love Roope Hintz.
You'll have your biggest winners?
My biggest winner, I'm going back to my boy, the guy, the mustachioed
It's
madman.
another one we hadn't talked
Mason
about.
Marchment. Oh my goodness, he's amazing. What a great shot. What a great pass from Duchesne on that goal in the second period. Really needed that to end the period, to give yourself a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel and to propel yourself into a comeback. And he played good all night. He had another breakaway chance. And this is a key thing for me. He had that breakaway chance. It got stopped. And he immediately is just scrapping to get the puck back again. And that's the kind of chaotic energy we need from Mason Marchment, to just go after the puck with reckless abandon. And I loved it.
Yeah, I will give him credit there too. Yeah, Mato, I saw that stat as well down at the bottom of the ESPN feed. 5 goals in 5 games for Mason Marchment. I mean, I don't expect him to keep this up, but we definitely need him to continue scoring at a more consistent basis than we saw last year. It didn't have to be 5 goals in 5 games. If he continues that, great. But I mean, he is doing really, really well right now, and it's really good to see.
He started playing more consistently before he started getting the goals too, which is the cool thing to see. He's been playing good for 8 to 10 games now, and the last 5 is when he's kind of reaped what he sowed, and he's on a heater right now.
Yeah. So
James?
My biggest winner is going to be Harley. I mean, Harley plays 22 and a half minutes again tonight. I can't believe he didn't score. He had 4 shot attempts, I think.
At least, I think.
And
one
at least 2 I can think of.
And he played with every other opposing defenseman that he had with him. I mean, he played with Lundqvist, he played with Hakanpää, and he played with Heiskanen. All 3 of them. I mean, he played with everyone. He looks amazing with everyone. I think that's partially why he had that little miscue, because he was playing with everyone tonight. I mean, who are you playing with? Pass it to the middle of the ice to no one. Okay. But I mean, he's been spectacular, and the past couple of games he's taken the second pairing spot. I mean, he really has.
And we need him to do that too, because we don't want Suter there. Suter gets the second least time on ice, 1958. Good. That's good for the Stars when Suter doesn't play a lot.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, I think Heiskanen had a great night too. And I think a lot of that is in part to Harley playing with him for half the time that he was playing.
Yep.
One thing I did want to talk about is the defensive pairings here real quick.
Pairings.
I really think we need to see a shakeup here. Pairings, I know.
I mean, there was no pairings tonight. There's so many mix-ups tonight.
Maybe he was doing that on purpose to see what would fit, or maybe he was doing that because it was the second night of a back-to-back or whatever. He was just trying to even out the minutes a little bit more. Give Lundqvist and Harley, the younger guys, a little bit more because they can kind of handle it. Take back Suter a little bit because he's obviously 39. But I'm starting to feel like I would like to see Harley with Miro more. And
they tried
I know
for a good chunk of tonight, honestly.
And I know that we've talked about the fact that Essa and Hakanpää shouldn't be together. But I mean, if you're gonna stick with that pairing, if that's the hill you're gonna die on, if you're Pete DeBoer, put Harley up there with Miro and just see what happens, and maybe see it going. And then even Suter and Lundqvist, I think would be a good pairing too, because Lundqvist would be able to play with Suter and maybe learn some things from Suter. I don't know, but the long story short, the defense needs to be fixed. The defenseman needs to be fixed, and it's just not where it needs to be for a Stanley Cup contending team. So,
Trade deadline's coming.
yep. Well, you say coming; it's months away still, but we'll
It's
see.
coming. It'll sneak up on me, I swear.
And the last thing I've got, it was nice that we were able to rely on a different line tonight to keep us in the game. Like the last
Did we
couple of
now?
years. Yeah, no. The last couple of years we've been relying on the Robo, and Pavelski line to kind of sort of keep us in games sometimes. They weren't the ones that kept us in the game tonight. It was Duchesne, Sagan, and Marchment that kept us in the game. And then the top line came in and said, "Okay, now we'll kind of do our thing," and took over the game and kind of got us there. So it was really nice to see that and be able to rely upon that. That's just my thought. Last thought for the evening. Anything else? Oh, biggest loser.
losers.
We gotta do biggest loser. Who y'all got?
Myself for loving Lundqvist too much and not giving up.
Biggest
I'll
loser,
give-
Chris.
That was it.
That was it. I'll give mine to Hakanpää for the ill-advised change when it was 2-1. I mean, that you can't.
That's a terrible change.
It's unlucky a little bit because
Mm.
let me explain at least a little, okay? It's unlucky a little because you're not expecting Matt Duchesne to get puck jacked, and then also Lindell is rushing in with them, so that might tip you off that maybe you shouldn't try to go change. But it's a bad change nonetheless, and that's a terrible time to do it. I mean, right after the other team just went up on y'all from kind of a lucky whiffed shot that they got back. It's very poor timing is what it was.
Mhm. For me, I'm gonna say the biggest loser is the cursed of the Dallas Stars right now, because
One power play.
I hope it's off
One
at this
power
point,
play.
because
That's
the curse
insane.
of the Dallas Stars did not win tonight. It did not win, even though it felt like that it was constantly pulling us down and trying to find a way to make us lose.
The Stars had 38 shots on goal. The majority of the possession time. It did not draw one penalty in the offensive zone.
Not one.
Ridiculous.
I
Some
don't get
might
it either.
say asinine.
Asinine. I love it. All right, guys. We're gonna be back with you guys when the Stars take on Vegas. I believe it's Saturday. It's a matinee, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
3:00.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we'll be back with you guys then for that game. We're really excited to see what the Stars can continue to do. One of the things I did see earlier is out of the next 13 games, 10 of them are going to be at the American Airlines Center. So this is going to be a good time. Well, here, this is what I'm
Bad
getting
for the
at.
Stars. but
This is
good for
going to
Stars
be.
fans.
Yeah, this is going to be a good opportunity for the Stars to be able to turn around their home woes, it seems like right now. Please, let's do it. Take care of business here. Okay. Anyways, guys, thank y'all for tuning along with us here tonight. We went longer than normal because Chris had to go on his rant about Lundqvist, but it's okay, Chris. We appreciate you anyways.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for those of you that's listening live. We had up to like 24 people live tonight, which is more than normal. So thank y'all. There's more of y'all listening even afterwards on the podcast side. We appreciate y'all as well. Go and check out StarcastStuckerMarks.com. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook. Use that promo code THPN. And we will see you guys later. Alongside Chris and James, my name's Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side and hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. Chris, do the thing.
Birthday dubs just feel better. GG, boys.
Bye.